Aren't superhero games just the fucking best? You got the Sony Spider-Man games, you got the Batman Arkham games, you got a Wolverine game coming out sometime, I don't fuck, whatever. Hell, even EA's making an Iron Man game, supposedly. But you know what I've noticed? Most of these games only focus on one or two heroes at a time. And that makes sense, I guess. You know, game development takes a lot of time now, and, you know, licensing out multiple IPs is probably pretty expensive. But with how popular superhero team-ups are in comics and movies, you'd think there'd be a game that tries to replicate it. Oh, shit. Oh, Jesus. If only there was a game that let me assemble a team of, like, I don't know, 4 Marvel heroes where you battle a bunch of minions in sort of this Diablo beat-em-up styles. Excuse me. Oh! That's right, all you kids growing up on Sony's Marvel Spider-Man game. Yeah, no, this is greatness right here, and I'm gonna activate my blue skidoo powers. All right, let's go. Oh. All right, we're here. Developed by Raven Software and published by these assholes, Ultimate Alliance is an action RPG that features Marvel characters that came out on literally goddamn everything back in 2006. 2006? That's a long time ago. I don't like. The game was commercially and critically successful, being praised for its large roster of Marvel characters. Hell, even IGN gave it best story on PlayStation 3 for the year 2006. I don't think there was much to compete with, to be fair. That story starts with Doctor Doom attacking the SHIELD helicarrier, and Colonel Fury summons a few heroes to help out. Captain America, Spider-Man, Thor, and Wolverine. These 4 kind of serve as like the main heroes of the story and are usually featured in all the major cutscenes and stuff, but there's plenty of more heroes. Don't you worry, we'll get to that. They make their way through the helicarrier, saving what's left of the crew, while fighting a large variety of super villains that are led by Doctor Doom, called
the Masters of Evil.
You got Winter Soldier, Radioactive Man, Bullseye, and even Fang motherfucking Fu! Afterwards, the team makes a new base up at Stark Tower, where their main priority is to find out what the Masters of Evil are doing and you know, stop them, give them a little punch. This is just the basic setup of the story, but you actually travel to a lot of different locations throughout the Marvel Universe. You go to Atlantis, you go to Mephisto's Realm, you go to Valhalla, and even Arcade's Murder World. My god, that is a throw. Arcade's Murder World, dude. You meet a wide variety of characters, starting from the Earth's Mightiest Heroes and the X-Men to the Shi'ar Empire and the Inhumans. It's pretty impressive. But enough about the story. The main draw of Ultimate Alliance is fighting hordes of enemies as your favorite Marvel superheroes. You have the ones that you would expect. You know, we already talked about Captain America, Wolverine, Thor, and Spider-Man. You also have the Fantastic Four, you have Doctor Strange, Ghost Rider. But it also has some really interesting picks for the time, like Spider-Woman, Luke Cage, and Ronan, who were pretty unknown back then, at least. I don't know. Someone's probably gonna argue with me like, actually, Ronan was the most popular character ever. Yeah, okay. Where's their movie, motherfucker? Yeah, I know they got a TV show. Shut up. Shut up. Some of these heroes would go on to have their own surges in popularity after the fact, but it's pretty cool that they decided to try to get characters that comic book fans would know and not just cash in on mainstream popularity. Okay, well, you know, besides the main obvious ones. The game also had platform-specific characters like Colossus and Moon Knight on the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and Wii versions. The PlayStation Portable version had Black Widow, Hawkeye, and Ronan. The PlayStation 2 and original Xbox versions, they got nothing. There were even DLC characters for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 versions. You got Cyclops, Nightcrawler, Magneto, Sabretooth, the fucking Hulk, and Venom! Yes! Let's go, motherfucker! He's in there, my boy's in there, baby! Yeah, I'm a fan of Venom. Ultimate Alliance takes all these characters and puts them in a Diablo beat-em-up sort of system. Each character has basic combos they can string together by pressing the light attack and heavy attack buttons. There's also a grab button where you can hold an enemy in place, give them a few punches, and then chuck them into the wall or something. It can be a nice distraction from endlessly spamming the same combos over and over. But the coolest part with the grab move is that every character has a special attack animation by hitting the heavy attack button while grabbing somebody. Some of these are really cool, like Spider-Man webbing people up to the ceiling, or Iron Man flying up before crashing down on you. Or probably the most metal one with Captain America flipping you over his head and then decapitating you with his shield. What the god, this game is sick! But the one thing that makes characters stand out is their powers. You can bring up the power wheel, and then if you hit a button associated with a specific power, you can perform super cool superhero move shits. I don't fucking. You can bring up the power wheel to perform character-specific moves. so long as they have enough energy to do so. In case you didn't know, the energy is represented by this little blue bar here, and then this one's the health. Whee! Each superhero has about 10 powers to unlock, which is pretty good considering the size of the roster. Most of these powers are special attacks that can do a decent amount of damage, but some of them are also stat boosts that can boost either the stats of you or your team. There's also completely unique powers like Ghost Rider's Fear ability or Spider-Man's Spider Sense that makes everything slow motion. Each character also has their Extreme ability. This is a move that can only be activated once you fill up enough momentum in your momentum bar. It's this fucking one up here. Pay attention. You fill your momentum meter by beating people up a lot. Yeah. When you do activate them, though, most of these extreme moves are pretty flashy and can usually wreck the whole screen. They also say out loud the name of their move, which is kind of silly. I like it. Overall, the game's combat is full of charm. I especially like the announcer that just says random stuff like fantastic or amazing whenever you do a few combos in a row. It's kind of funny. I like it. Not everything is perfect here, though, because the game can actually be pretty repetitive, especially in the beginning when you don't have that many powers unlocked. You can also tell that there's a lot of animations that are shared between characters. Most of the main heroes, specifically the ones on the cover, have their own specific animations that aren't usually shared with anybody else. But like Venom, for example, shares a lot of his attack animations with Spider-Man, which makes sense on paper until you see this stupid flip kick thing. What the hell is that, man? Could you just give him something else? The game also just looks like this. It hasn't held up very well. Before we talk about that, though, let's actually talk about the RPG systems that are present within Ultimate Alliance. Because what good is an ARPG if where's the RPG part, you know what I mean? The RPG systems in Ultimate Alliance are pretty bare bones, but there is enough here that you can actually make definitive roles for your superheroes on your team. On easy and normal modes, you probably won't really need to mess with the systems I'm about to talk about. But on hard, though, you better believe you got to master these systems because it's gonna be challenging if you don't. I mean, if you just don't do it, you're gonna have a bad time. You can upgrade your powers using shield credits that you get from beating enemies and smashing shit. Each upgrade usually gives you more damage or extends the duration of some sort of stat boost. There's a laundry list of gear that you can equip on your characters too. Some of this gear is actually exclusive to certain heroes and are just usually little stat bonuses. That gear can be pretty useful though, because it can actually be used to further improve a specific power beyond its limit. So if you've already maxed out a certain power and then a certain gear adds like +3 to that power, you're actually going to get an insane boost to that specific power. So they can actually be pretty powerful. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Okay, you Ultimate Alliance nerds. I know. Don't think you know me! Usually the more valuable gear, though, is the stuff that drops from defeating bosses. Some of this gear is actually insane, depending on who you have in your party. Like Starbolt's Flame, for example, that gives +35% fire damage. Hooking that shit on Human Torch, yeah, they're fucking roasted, man. They're fucking dead, man. They're dead! Or like the Asgardian armor that you can craft in Valhalla that gives +50% elemental resistance and +50% electricity damage. But someone at Raven Software fucked up because it's actually bugged and it just works on every power in the game. So yes, thank you, I will take the best item in the game. Oops, I made a doopsie. Woo! On top of that, each character also has 4 different costumes that can give you different upgradable stats. These costumes are really where you start building a specific role for a certain hero on your team. Spider-Man's classic suit, for example, has a stat where you can upgrade his web attack damage. And he's Spider-Man, so it's basically everything. While Spider-Man's symbiote outfit has a stat that can upgrade his maximum health. I kind of feel like they should be switched. I don't know. Is that just me?
But wait, there's more!
If all the heroes in your party are members of an established team in the Marvel Universe, like Fantastic Four or the X-Men, you get team bonuses that match that team. Like X-Men gets +15% energy or whatever. You thought we were done? Let me hit you with this. There's more. If there's a group of characters that you like, but they are not part of an established team in the Marvel Universe, you can create your own team and they will build specific bonuses over the course of the game. God, this is sick. So yeah, I created my own custom team. Unfortunately, I couldn't change the name after the fact because I just wanted to see if it would let me, but hey, what are you gonna do? All of these RPG systems come together and actually allow you to build a pretty unique team. I'm sure my team is very unique. I love them all. There's also other RPG-ish systems outside of combat as well. There's a dialogue system when talking to specific NPCs. There's not that many of these conversations when you're out on a mission, but back in the home base, you can spend a surprising amount of time just chatting with other heroes. Mostly getting their backstories, but you also get some relationships with other characters. It's kind of cool. There's even a pseudo-optional side story that persists throughout the majority of the game. You have to talk to characters back in the hub and get different information to give to the hacker man to find out if there's a spy on the team. It's actually pretty in-depth. The actual information you need to find from these characters to keep the story going is actually really easy, and even if you're like a smaller Marvel fan, you can probably just figure it out. But it's an interesting diversion that encourages you to sit down with your team after every mission and get the hub up. Kind of like Mass Effect, only much worse. A lot worse. But the best thing about this story is if you actually keep it going and give the right information, you actually get different team bonuses for your custom team. So there's a decent reward for keeping up with it. But yeah, some of the writing is really stupid and very obvious, and sometimes I hate it, but hey, whatever, it's fine.
So he is not trustworthy.
But my favorite part about this dialogue system is that there can be special conversations depending on what heroes you have in your party. Like this scene if you have Deadpool during the helicarrier mission.
Boy, do you look stupid.
Or like every time you talk to Nick Fury as Wolverine.
Yeah, this group's got some real potential, Fury.
These interactions are really cool, and I'm still finding new ones when replaying the game with different characters. And this is one of Ultimate Alliance's greatest strengths, in my opinion. Trying out a different team on a new playthrough makes the experience fresh and exciting. But while Ultimate Alliance does have a lot of strengths, it also has a lot of weaknesses. First of all, I'm sure you've noticed, but the game's presentation has not stood the test of time. Now again, I played this on the PlayStation 2 and it looked like that. So looking like this is already an upgrade for me, but yeah, it still looks, it looks pretty bad. Look at my boy the Hulk, man. Like, what did they do to you, man? Who approved of this? The writing, it's also not good. Not very good. Which sucks because you have these amazing cutscenes like the opening at the helicarrier and the attack on Asgard, but then you just have shit like this?
Hey, if the boss wants me to launch a missile at a heavily populated city, I do it.
Like why? Why are we here? Now, I'm gonna turn this whole weaknesses thing on its head a little bit. I'm sure most of you who maybe haven't seen Ultimate Alliance in action before are probably looking at this and going, oh my god, that game looks jank as fuck, and it looks terrible. And yeah, by today's standards, this does look and feel like dog shit. But I don't know if it's nostalgia talking, I'm sure that's a factor, but there's just this sort of incomprehensible charm to everything. Like, it plays like everything's held together with duct tape, but that also kind of gives it this homemade feel and vibe. I don't know, this game's kind of like a child's drawing that you hang on the fridge, you know? Like, it looks like shit, but, you know, it's your kid, you know? You love it. Now, this game did get re-released back in 2016 and eventually had all the DLC characters added back in. Except the PSP ones. They didn't bother putting those in, I guess. I don't know. However, that version is currently delisted due to licensing issues with Activision, so, you know, it's still not available. Although I still do own the PlayStation 4 version of this game, I'm actually playing the 2006 PC physical release for this video. I'd like to see you try taking this away from me, Activision. Yeah, you can't. Shoutouts to physical media. The reason why I'm playing this version of the game is because of the modding community. There is a huge modding community that has been making Ultimate Alliance mods for almost 20 years now. And this community has made the original PC release easily the best version of the game. They've added so many different characters, new skins, different levels, voices, and so much more. They've even ported over the DLC characters from the next-gen versions. And not only that, but they've also ported over the PSP characters, which makes it the only version of the game where you can have literally every official playable character of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1. And the weird benefit of Ultimate Alliance looking like dog ass is that mods kind of just look like official assets most of the time. Come here and join me for story time. Let me tell you something sick. During the development of Ultimate Alliance 1, Raven Software met with Nintendo and pitched the idea to add Samus and Link as official characters on the Wii version. But somebody really fucked up at Raven Software though, because they presented the video with PlayStation button prompts, which upset Nintendo and they didn't allow them to use Samus or Link. But the demo videos of Samus and Link were leaked online, and modders have used that footage to put Samus and Link into the game as modded characters, which now, very ironically, allows me to play as Samus in Marvel Ultimate Alliance with PlayStation button prompts. This is fucking wicked cool. I just want to give a shout out over to Marvel Mods forums. I'm also going to link any mods that I've used in this video, which I've used a couple, down in the description below. So if you want to check it out, go for it. They have so many tutorials on how to get this stuff running, and you're going to need them because it's kind of complicated. Anyway, back to the game. It's really difficult for me to explain the magic of Ultimate Alliance 1. And I know there's going to be some nostalgia tinted, you know, glasses or whatever, but Ultimate Alliance is probably one of the last examples of what I would call the fun era of Marvel, where they weren't afraid to allow just fucking anybody to use their IPs to make something fun, even if it wasn't, you know, the highest of quality. And yeah, the game is not perfect, but honestly, I think that's what gives the game its charm. I don't know. I just like Ultimate Alliance 1, and I think people should play that, and maybe they should re-release it on digital storefronts or something. I don't know. This game's fun. Shoutouts to Marvel Mods for making it even more fun. Anyway, who do you want in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 4? I want Captain Marvel and Miles Morales. Just like all of you. See you then. My name's Ivan Gellion. That's how it's pronounced. Goodbye.